Okay, so who do you think is this year's sleeper in the NCAA, men or women's?
I'm gonna say my team, Maryland Terps. They don't ever give us the respect we deserve. This year, they have a whole new team. You know, they have no starters returning, and yet we have the number one offense in the nation. Have a record in assist to turnover ratio. We have 5 starters that average double figures. Anybody can come off the bench and give you 10 to 20 points a game. And we just play like I've seen the team play. They play so well together. They really have fun with each other and they really celebrate each other's success. And that's what you need in a successful team where everybody, isn't jealous. People play together to win and they have one common goal. It's not selfish or anything. And just seeing them play this year and how much the team changed. I mean, we graduated as seniors, but we also had 3 transfers. And that's a completely different team that they really have. You know what I'm saying? I think they only had maybe like 4 to 5 people that was there last year that was coached under Coach Freeze, and just seeing how they were able to take that adversity and turn it into something good. And the way they're playing is just ridiculous. And the fact that we're only a 2 seed is just kind of disrespectful to me. I mean, we're never in that conversation, even though every year we prove that we are one of the best teams in the country. We never get that respect. And so I think personally we're a sleeper this year, and we're going to wake up a lot of people this year because we're playing really good.
I definitely agree with that. Y'all have been the most consistent team on Maryland campus for the past 10 years. Period. I played football. We was never what we should have been or could have been, in my opinion. But y'all have stayed consistent, like over the years, consistently winning, consistently in the tournament, consistently winning the Big Ten tournament as well. Like I said, women's basketball conference don't get the respect that they need, but like I said, they've been doing it for so long and they don't get the respect that they deserve. Back to when Alyssa Thomas was there, like coming in my freshman year, like it was crazy. Like the players that y'all had and the consistency that y'all had, like. But they always give the expression to UConn, and then Skylar Diggins was at Notre Dame at the time, all that stuff. So it's a popularity contest most of the time.
Exactly. So I really think, they never really, give us that respect, but we're going to earn it this year. We're going to show them. Definitely.
Well, y'all know I'm pro Terp all day. And I just really quickly want to say, as far as Coach Freeze, her husband emailed me and sent me one of the nicest emails that I've ever received after my best friend Jonathan England passed away. So shout out to the Freeze family. He didn't have to do that. He didn't know who I was. He didn't know my friend Jonathan, but he just kind of found that I was close to him, and he sent me that. And so the Freeze family, I have nothing but total respect for them. And University of Maryland never gets, I agree with you both, that doesn't get the respect that they deserve. But to be honest, y'all got to get over the UConn hump. You know what I mean? I've been to those games, and you just can't seem to get over that hump. And until y'all get there, we can't say that, you guys, I mean, sleeper, yes, but definitely not. We can't put you in the favorite category until you guys get over the UConn hump. I've been watching for years. Me and my best friend Jonathan, we used to go to the games. We brought our kids to the games. And it was like, those games you just couldn't seem, even in some of those years where you guys had unbelievable seasons, couldn't get over the hump. And so I don't know that the University of Maryland, I don't think you guys get the respect. The Lady Terps don't get the respect that they deserve, but they're not really a sleeper. This year, oddly enough, the sleeper to me in women's basketball is the team that I believe, other than UConn, is, if I'm not mistaken, is the winningest team in women's college basketball. And that's Tennessee. I think Tennessee is the sleeper.
Back there, I ain't heard Tennessee in years.
Been a long time, but they're on a 6-game winning streak. Even though they're only 15-6, you got to go with the teams. When you're talking about a sleeper, you go with the team that's trending upward. And of all the teams in the top 25, they have the longest winning streak, going into when we're going into March Madness. And we'll see how they are in March Madness. But I think that as far as a sleeper, you got to have one eye open on the Tennessee Lady Vols and see what they're going to do. Now, in men's basketball, I think the sleeper is Houston. Yeah. Houston is leading, and I think Kyla will agree with me, even though, she's a flashy shooting guard. Kyla will agree with me that one of the categories, there are two categories that I think win championships. Of course, defense. We talk about this in every sport. Defense wins championships. And the other thing in basketball, offensive rebounding. You get those second and third chances. You know what I mean? Then people like Kyla can come down the court and gun all day, but you're going to get another chance at shooting it. So I think offensive rebounding, Houston is leading the country in offensive rebounding. They play really tough defense. Their perimeter defense is amazing. They're holding teams, I think, to 27% from three. So in a time when people are shooting threes,
from the moon.
Yeah, you got guys, I can't remember who it is. Somebody in college basketball shooting 48% from three. Freaking in the pros, Lonzo Ball is shooting 45% from 3-point range. You know what I mean?
Surprised me.
Yeah, it surprised the heck out of me with that weird thing.
Shot.
But it's going in.
Hey, at least it ain't worse than Michael Kidd-Gilchrist. That was one of the ugliest shots I ever seen in my life.
Sean Marion,
the push
jump. Bill Cartwright. But 27% from three, if you can hold teams to that, and shoot well from three yourself and play tough defense and get offensive rebounds, makes you really tough to beat. Of course, Gonzaga, you got Baylor, you got a bunch of teams that are really good, but I think Houston is my sleeper for men. I'm keeping it down south. Tennessee and Houston are my sleepers.
I agree with the rebounding. Like anytime we had a game, the coaches will always be like, we have to win the rebounding battle. Because one, it's us getting extra possessions, but that's us stopping them from getting extra possessions. So that really can dictate the way of the game.
Absolutely. I remember a basketball coach, one of the basketball coaches that have me on the bench, said to me, if you get 4 offensive rebounds a game, you're in double figures every game. 4 offensive rebounds a game. So that's my thing. I think if you're getting rebounds both on the defensive end and the offensive end, you're boxing.
Basketball back in my freshman year, JV, I averaged a double. But that's when basketball was fun, though.
Yeah,
that was you just playing. I think when you just playing free with no agenda, like you just enjoying what you're doing, everything's going to be fun. But when you start playing against those fundamental, I was just an athlete. I was a 6'1" center. When I started actually playing real centers, I didn't want to play basketball. It wasn't for me. It humbled me. So that's what we had, man. But Jason, don't talk. You can get dunked on.
You want to dunk on somebody?
I have bounce. Do you know my vert coming out of high school was?
The belly got bounce. That's about it.
I'm built like, hey, I ain't gonna get into it. I'm built like I'm a goddess. I'm a god. I'm all that. I'm the goddess.
Gotcha. You heard that? Savon is a goddess.
So, Kyla, you touched on Sue Bird. I was wondering, with sports media coverage only covering, like spending 4% covering women's sports, do you think Sue Bird's organization together, how do you think that will affect that?
It'll bring us more exposure, which we really, need. And I was reading an article and she was talking about how we're fighting for this little piece, but we really just need a bigger piece. We shouldn't be fighting, with other athletes for screen time or anything. We should, just have a bigger piece and have more outlets. And so them creating this new media outlet is just another opportunity to just get women's sports out there and, get that exposure. People are like, people don't really watch it. It's because you don't see it. You don't see it on TV as regular as you see men's sports. If you do see it, it might have to be on like a certain channel that you have to get a subscription to or online. And so being able to have this new media outlet is just going to be a great way to elevate, women's sports all over. Whether that's, from basketball to tennis to volleyball. And I'm actually really, really excited and glad that they were able to, create this idea and go through with it. It's going to be very special, and we're just taking steps every year to elevate the game.
I mean, Sue Bird is a legend, as you stated earlier. One of the players that I've watched, and I will say, I think our society is incredibly sexist and male dominated, and that's just the truth. And that goes into our media. Here on the Sports Place, we talk about women's sports, even when we don't have guests like Kyla, because we're sports fans and we love sports. It doesn't matter. I go to WNBA games all the time. And I've actually invited some of my friends, and I just want my friends to know you guys are sexist because you never come with me, even though I invite y'all and give y'all free tickets. But and to University of Maryland women's games. I think that this is really important. I'm really excited for Together, which I will consider our sister channel. They're like, yeah, right. You guys only get like 12 views, but we're claiming it until you guys do. But I think it's great because, I watch all the First Takes and, the ESPNs and Fox Sports, and I almost never hear them talk about women's sports. Like I don't recall them ever talking about it. And with some of the things that the WNBA in particular, there are lots of other women's sports. Shout out to all those other women's athletes. And let me say, my claim to fame is that Megan Rapinoe actually liked one of my tweets. So
she was in the bubble with us, so we would see her at the pool and she would hang out with us. So she was really cool.
That's dope. That's dope. And I just want to say, they never talk about women's sports. And what the WNBA has done, you guys have gained my respect forever. And shout out to all of the players who the Atlanta Dream in particular, but all of the players with your activism and your social conscience, while, NFL players were scared to do certain things and other leagues were scared and they were like, should we do it? Should we not? WNBA took action right away. And I would like to tell any of our viewers who watch us when we talk about other sports, it's good basketball. That's what it is. If it were trash basketball, I'll be honest with you. I'll be like, but it's actually good basketball that you will enjoy if you give it a shot.
All right, guys, that's all for us here on the Sports Place today. I want to say a special thank you to Kyla Charles for coming in and sitting with us and talking with us today, taking time out of her schedule to do so. Go ahead and hit like and subscribe below if you had a good time. Come back and see us next week and have a great week. Stay safe.